I give a disclaimer because I have to go online and I may be discussing some hot topics over here, some cases on some persons, some business tycoons. So I give a disclaimer. Okay, it's not my personal view. Whatever the data I collect from the social media, only I'm sharing. Okay, it's not my personal view. Okay, so I start with the disclaimer. You don't worry about CA material or CMA material. This time I'll train you in a different way. We cover singer material. So that's my first thing. So I'll be covering singer material. Okay, singer material covers complete concept. The only problem you face in law paper is how you're going to write the exam, how you're going to recollect the points. Okay, actually there is two modes of studying law papers. One is you completely go by bar act. Okay, go section by section. Section 1 says this one, section 2, section 3, section 4. You go section by section, or you just go conceptually. Okay, actually, my technique or most of them follow conceptually only. If you go bar act, almost you have some 60 plus definitions, and where all the definitions are not necessary for an exam level itself. So that's not necessary because section 2 will be completely dealing with definitions, which are not necessary. Again, if I take a particular heading, that heading may be linked with some other chapter, some other section where it's not covered in our syllabus. So this all things we'll be facing. So that's why it's better we go conceptual. So from the concept we go for the barracks. So this time I have planned that we'll be covering SSA material. Okay. Then and there I'll ask you to refer barrack or I'll be referring personally barrack in the session in the lecture series. And apart from that, I may be asking you to write some test and assignments. Okay, assignments in the sense that I may ask you to recollect the points or I may give some activity also. You are interested in doing activities because each and every class I start, we talk about a company, we gather some points on the companies, but no one does it. You think probably you in the sense I'm talking in a common general case. Most of the students think we are not MBA students, we are not going to do case study. Don't think in that way. If you talk about or if you refer so many companies, then company law will be very, very easy. Actually, it's a very, very, very beautiful act. And how many are aware of Indian Contract Act? Indian Contract Act, oh, at least you know a few points. What do you mean by agreement or etc. etc. That concept is more than enough for Companies Act. Okay. And one more thing, as I was discussing earlier, you have to treat company as a separate person. That's the main drawback which I felt. Okay. How are you going to treat this as a separate person? Okay. Being a non-commerce student, what I sense is person means a person which has two hands, okay, two legs, two eyes. Okay, this is how the science students are taught. Okay, like anatomy of a human body. But when we talk about company, what the act or what the law says is you have to treat this as a separate person. Okay, which one you're going to treat as a separate person? The business. Now comes the problem. What business you have seen? I have seen ice cream wala selling ice creams. Okay, we'll be pushing nothing like what that small four-wheel vehicle like he'll be pushing and he'll be selling ice creams. I have seen that wala. Idiyapo color. Okay, that's a hot topic, right? Idiyapo. So selling idiyappams. Okay, that's a business. Okay, I go for purchasing a dress. Okay, like Reliance or Unlimited and now Studio, whatever it is. That's a business. Okay, I have gone for purchasing provisions for my home, grocery items, etc. That's a business. There's so many lists I have seen, and I think only these are the business. The list is big, obviously. I can talk about ITC. I can talk about when I talk about automobiles. I can talk about car. I can talk about bikes. Okay. When I talk about what ITC or Tata or Reliance or communications, whatever it is, I can talk much about business. Now the problem arises: why have to treat this business as a separate person? Okay. So the non-commerce students, this is the tricky area. You have to feel the business as a separate person. As a practicing side, okay, myself, I give some advice, or as a consulting capacity, I give some advice to the business persons who run as a company. Okay, who do their business as a company. They say that, ma'am, it's my money, ma'am. I'm investing in them. Sir, it's your money, sir, but you have given loan to the company, sir. Okay, this is the latest topic I'm facing with the company for the last 10 days. You have given the money, sir. You're the director, sir, but company is different, sir. No, ma'am, I only started the company. It's my baby, ma'am. Okay, you see. From your childhood days, you might have had some dream like, okay, what dream you have? Okay, let me go something bit personally. What dream or goals you have? Yes, any ideas? What you're planning? Don't go too personally. Okay. At least you can share your thoughts. Do you have any dream or goals? As of now, I have to finish my CA, CMA. That's my major goal. Okay, after finishing CA or CMA. Yes, immediately you can say, I'm going to own a property, I'm going to own a car, or I'm going to own a bike. Owning a car is easy compared to owning a bike, which you like. Okay. Uh, Tell me, any other goals you have, dreams you have? You can share. Okay, I'll not disclose your name and all. Don't worry. Okay, you want to go for the higher course, like, okay, now extra, additional, not higher, additional course. Anything else? Okay, anything else online? Going abroad? Okay. Actually, there are so much openings for cost accountants and abroad now, especially in Germany, because recent days, again, I'm online disclaimer. Recent days, PM Modi ji, he visited Germany, and there is a MOU tie up with German companies where manufacturing unit is getting gained now. So probably for 2 to 3 years, getting inside to German or German related companies very easy for cost accountants. Okay. Yes. Anything else? I met a student last week. She said she want to start a tea shop. Okay, sister only. She wants to start a tea shop. Okay. Okay, that's not a surprise for me because I have heard many students soon after finishing CMA, soon after finishing CA, they say, I want to do my agribusiness, man. I know one student. Okay, his name is, I can disclose his name because I have that advantage. I can disclose his name. His name is Lennon. He's a CMA qualified. He went to Singapore related to some job. He came back. He earned a good amount of money. He wants to live his life with his passion. He's a very small guy. Okay, small guy means after all he may be in 30 or 32 only. He returned after 10 years in Singapore. He returned. Okay, after returning, he's doing agribusiness. Okay, he has his own land. Okay, he's in his native, doing kambu, millets, Vedkadla, groundnut. He's growing all these. He says, I'm enjoying my life, man. So the CACM and all, exam purpose only. You earn money. Just tell me, what is your dream or goals? Yes. Or no, he'll be saying, I'll join with my sister, man. Okay. Yes. Tell me. Particularly, anything? One of my CS student, his family business is, they'll sell the shrimps. You know, kargad. Okay, you know kargad, dry fish. Okay, actually, the dry fish, there are so many varieties in dry fish, and one particular dry fish is of shrimps. It will look like prawn variety. It's not like fish variety, it's like prawn variety. Okay, their family business is shrimps. He joined as a CS student, he cleared CS Inter, and he is doing his family business only. I asked him, you already have a business. Okay, why you want to do CS? No, ma'am, I just want to know how can I export the shrimps. Okay, under the Karvada business. Okay, okay. That's not a different experience. I know one of my another student after completing CMA, uh, she's planning for IAS. Okay, she's preparing herself for IAS because IAS she wants to choose one particular discipline, one particular major area, and she chose costing. Okay, so probably if you become a cost accountant in future, you may be working for defense. So as a cost accountant, okay. How many CMAs are here? CMAs. Yes. Okay, why not CS? After finishing CA or doing CA itself, definitely you can pursue your own course. Okay, but the problem here is who's going to support? Okay, you do your business, who is going to support? Another one problem is you get ready with all the funds. Okay, you get ready all with all the funds. Probably how you get the funds? Doing CA, you learn money. Doing CMA, you learn money. Apart from that, how can you get the funds? What are the sources I'm asking? You pursue a degree, you work or you go from practice, you earn money. Okay. Apart from that, you get from your relatives. Okay. You get from your friends, kith and kin. Okay. What else? You can borrow from banks. Okay, what else? What else? We can give, or you can take as a loan. Borrowing from banks, I'm talking about debentures. Probably you are all inter-level, so I can use the term uh, debentures. So debenture is a borrowing fund, okay, for a company. Okay. Yes, tell me, what type of business you will start? I'm trying to explain that business is going to be a different one, okay? But still your name will start. Yes, what about business you may start? You like ice cream? Okay. You start ice cream business. You become a competitor to Arun ice cream, Ibako. Okay. Arun ice cream and Ibako are both same. If you find time, or please find time, you can check about this person, Mr. Chandra Mohan. He's the owner of this Arun ice cream. Okay, his first day salary was around some 65 rupees. Okay, per month I'm talking about, per month or per day. I cannot remember the data. And now his business is some 2000 plus crores. Okay, I was talking with my cousin. You like ice creams, then why don't you marry an ice cream man? She got herself like insulted. What you're asking me to get married to ice cream man? Okay, he is a person. Okay, I'm generally talking. He is a person where his business is now 2000 crores. Still, he's selling ice cream zone. He's selling Arun. He's selling Ibako also. Ibako is like an international brand. The employees who do this research and development (R&D) for Ibako are sent to foreign countries. Okay, and they do the research over there, and they find the taste, some blueberry or black currant or what are the different flavors you may be liking. So all of those is brought over in Ibako. And who has tasted this Arun ice cream, the small 5 rupees chocolate like ice cream? Anybody has tasted? Okay, you can just open it, take a bite directly. Okay, without licking the chocolate or just crunching with the wafers, you can directly take it. So that variety is also there. Okay, what about selling cars? Yes, you can do it. We have a Toyota company, may not be an Indian company. Probably, if I talk about Indian company, yes, Mahindra is there. Why not about selling garments, which I'm talking about textiles? Yes, you can do it. Because it's a first class for company law, I just want to talk about the plus and minus both for company law. That is running company as form of business. When I talk about the positive side, let me go for the positive side. Okay, I'm both positive side and negative side. Stand for both positive side and negative side. Whenever any clients come to me, they ask, I want to form a company. I say, don't form a company. Okay. Being a company secretary, I only say, please don't form a company. Think twice, think thrice before starting. Because once if you start, there are so many legal procedures are there. If you want to remove a director, there is a procedure. If you want to appoint a director, there's a procedure. The problem is you yourself as a director, you cannot appoint yourself, you cannot come inside the company. So many legal procedures are there, so many legal formalities are there, and there will be always a watch on you. Okay, everybody will be watching. Who's this everybody? Can you tell some names? Who's this everybody? Ah, general public. Okay, everybody will be watching. General public, government, investors, SEBI. If it happens to be a listed company, SEBI. So everybody will be watching, and some leakage. When the That's a problem. Okay. Let me go for the positive side. Okay. If I talk much about negative side, then you will be worried. Should I study company law for the exam? Yes, obviously. Yes, tell me. To the positive side, as I was telling, this is a separate person. Will not treat, even though I started the company, I'll not treat this as my own company. I'll be treating this as a separate person. Okay. That's a very big advantage because this is treated as a separate person. You are safe. You, in the sense, you may be a director, you are safe. You may be a shareholder, that is investor, you are safe. Okay. You may be an employee working there, you are safe. Okay. Another one major advantage is only if it is a company, you can take for generations and generations. Agree with me? Okay. We are ready to do activities, right? Okay. Not now. Home assignments like you just take 5 companies and just find when it is incorporated. You need not go particularly for a date on it. If you go, for example, if you go for Mahindra Group, okay, if you go and search when this company is incorporated, Mahindra and Mahindra, You'll find that it's incorporated in the year 1945. Okay, so you just take any five companies of your own choice. Any, whether it's a small company or big company, or when you go to your home, back to your home, you might be finding some company's name ending with private limited or public limited or some chit funds or some bank. Take any five companies. It can be a bank, it can be normal companies, anything. It can be a petrol bunk, BPCL or Indian Oil or anything. You just find when it is incorporated, the date of incorporation. Okay, because it is incorporated as a company only, it is existing. Okay, again, this may be quite personal. Just for general sake, I'm asking. You have spoken to any LIC insurance agents? Okay, what will be the first word? How they will start the business? How will they start the business? In case, ma'am, something happens to you tomorrow itself. Okay, okay, I remember. Got married and just 1 week after marriage. Okay, my husband's mommy. Okay, Thai mama, mommy. Okay, she came home. I thought she has come home to visit me because I'm newly married bride, right? Okay, I thought everybody are coming, visiting me, going. So she was just coming and she's giving a long talk. She's talking for some half an hour, 45 minutes. Then only I came to know she's an LIC agent. Okay. Then sir came soon after the class. He finished and came. She asked they both are talking. They are not involving me. Sridhar, something happens to Yamuna tomorrow. Only 1 week and got married. If something happens to Yamuna tomorrow, you'll get this amount. Immediately, sir had two insurance policies. Why I'm saying is, don't take it personal, okay? Tell me, till what age you live? Don't take it personal, okay? Don't take it emotional and all. It's all stories. You go outside, you forget all the stories. Don't take it personal. Okay, tell me, till what age you may live? Okay, 60? Okay, 50? Okay, I don't want to go below this. 70? 80 or 90 or whatever, it's still 110. I read an article where one person, he was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 69. Then he changed all his physical habits, that food, diet, and all, and he started as walking and exercise and aerobics, swimming, everything he started at the age of 69 only. He was maintaining the basic fitness, but after 69 only he got and he's completely cured and he's still now living 103 age. His age is 103 now. I read this article in the morning. So probably 110. Okay. You may be living till 110, but for how many years you'll be active? So somebody was saying till 60 man, till 70 man. But how many years you will be active? Okay. Probably we'll just subtract this five. Last 5 years we take rest. Okay. So till 55, this is till 65. Okay. After this, what about your business? Okay. What about your business? There's a question mark for your business. But once when it's formed as a company, one person comes. Okay. For example, if you go for Tata, Tata company was incorporated in 19th century, some 1868, I think. Not very strong with the number 1868 or 1860s, 19th century only. Uh, Probably you might be knowing the story, right? Jamshed Tata, he found this company, etc. So Jamshed Tata, whatever it is, okay. Then the generation by generation it goes. Almost we are like 175 years old companies. What about ITC? 100 years company. Okay. What about this Mahendra? As I was discussing with Mahendra and Mahendra, this company was incorporated in 1945. Okay. Two persons joined together and incorporated. One is Jagdish Chandra Mahendra. Probably you can go for this case. Jagdish Chandra Mahendra and another is Kailash Chandra Mahendra. They are both are siblings, brothers. They started. This person is the eldest of the family, having eight following siblings. மொத்தம் 9 பேர். Okay, totally nine in the family. He's the eldest one. He started with his business. They started with steel business. Okay. 1951, he passed it. But still see Mahendra. And when we talk about Mahendra, whom do you remember immediately? Anand Mahendra. Anand Mahendra is a hero because if you talk about businessmen, yes, he stands first in the list. Obviously, Reliance, Ambani family is there. You can talk about Tata, all are there. But when you talk about Mahendra, Mahindra Group, Mahindra and Mahindra, we talk about Anand Mahindra. You just go and check about Anand Mahindra, you get stories and stories and stories. So many articles. His age is approximately like 70 plus, and he's completely with full fitness. He's living his life and so on. Okay. Why I'm talking about this person, Anand Mahindra, is Anand Mahindra is not the hero here. Mahindra's hero is these two persons. This person, Jagadish, he started in 1945 as a company, incorporated as a company, as per the Indian Companies Act, which was prevailing during that time. After this, he died in another 5 to 6 years. Who took over the company is Kailash and his sons. It goes on this way. Because it is incorporated as a company, it goes generation by generation. So this is one very much positive, very big advantages. Like so, if you form as a company, you'll go generation by generation. But the drawback is it will have so much of legal procedures. You cannot directly close a company. You have to report everything. A small amount, 1 rupee comes inside the company, you have to report it. If you give 1 rupee as a gift, you have to report it. Everything goes on. Okay. Probably you can link this with tax laws, you can link with competition laws, but I'm not involving all these here. Okay. Because company law itself is wider for us. Okay. I'm not going in depth. Okay. So I'll follow from Singer material. You can please join. Today I'm going to discuss only the basics part. Okay, not going too much in-depth concept, only the basic which you have studied in your school days or in your college days. Okay, shall I take over? Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So introduction. First, let us know about the background of the act. See, whenever you talk about uh, some act, okay, whenever you talk about some act, try to know about the history. Okay, try to know about some history. When we know why this is formed, when we try to understand what's the background of this work, you will come to know what this act is going to talk about. Okay. See, we are talking about company form of business. When we say company, we need to understand what is a company. Okay. What are the roles played by other persons in the company? Because once company is formed, is going to be a separate person. Then who is going to run the business? So everything need to be known. So we talk about the background of or history of this Companies Act. Again, we have to go for some 200 years before. I had to go for 1850. Okay. This is the first year when the Companies Act was formed. It was not Indian Companies Act, it was English Companies Act because Britishers were there, right? So you know this timeline, 1947, some 200 years back you have to go. Okay, 200 back years. This is the British ruling period. Okay, if you go again for 200 years back, it's a kingdom rule. So completely, we are not talking about the kingdom rule. We are not talking about pre-independence. Currently, we are talking about post-independence. But if we go for referring the history, all the act we follow, you might have heard of some legal maxims. You know what do you mean by legal maxims? Okay, it's the language, or we follow the Romans. That's what you call as legal. It's written in Latins. We follow the Latin language only. Okay. Um, So we start with 1850, then we have this 1913 Act, then we have this 1956 Act, and currently we have 2013 Act. And 2013 Act is a big hit for Companies Act, especially for India. And you know this latest news, we are fourth in GDP now. You got this latest news? Okay, please refer to all these news, okay? We are fourth in GDP. First stands US, okay, then China, then Germany. Earlier it was in fourth place Japan, then we were there. Latest by like some 20-25 days before, we surpassed Japan. We are in fourth place. Okay, this all happening when after this 2010 or especially after this 2013 only, because we want to give tough to other persons to other nations. Okay, so we want to have strong strength because only the companies can bring the economic development. We cannot have, see, I'm doing my own family business, cannot be developed. I'm talking about the overall national economy, cannot be developed. Completely, if it is a company, it will be developed. See, when you talk about Tata, government is supporting Tata. Is continuing from Singer material. So earlier act, we completely go with 1956 Act. So whenever we talk about the history, it's better we understand what was the earlier act. See, now we are currently following 2013 Act. Okay. Earlier act was 1956. What was there in 1956? The same thing we are following here, but some small changes. Especially the change was why this act we follow here 2013 is especially it should be contemporary because we are in the developing nation. Okay, first thing. Second thing, uh, in most of the cases, IT is involved. Information technology. I'm not talking about income tax. When I say IT, we are talking about information technology is all. We are using web forms. We are using e forms, and other nations have this concept called as one-person company. But India was not having this so far. But after 2013 only, we had this one-person company. And another one important concept is this whistleblowing. You know the Satyam scam. Satyam scam. Okay, I'm not going in detail. Satyam scam is a major issue. This is about the shareholders issue. Okay. Because company is a separate person and shareholder, you can think this in a different angle. You can think this in an IT issue. You can think this as a Companies Act issue. Anything you can discuss. I'm talking this as a Companies Act issue. So as a shareholder, what rights you have? Okay. So after this Satyam scam, there should be a whistleblower. Okay. There should be a whistleblower policy. What do you mean by whistleblower? When you blow a whistle, when there is a need, urgency. Okay. When you are in a situation that you cannot move out of that place, or you are in a situation that you have to hide yourself, but bring the truth outside. So in that case, we need to blow the whistle. Okay. If you are the whistleblower, are you protected? Okay. You cannot go home. We'll send you to Adia, bouncers. Okay. You cannot go home safe. We will have something planned. We will make us planned accident. Okay. Accident, planned accident. Okay. These are one of the cases the whistleblower were facing. That's why whoever blows the whistle, they should be protected. And how can you protect something? Only by law you can protect it. And this was brought in 2013 Act. This was a very big highlight. And one particular issue we were discussing about governance, but this was some old issue now because apart from governance, we have ethics. Okay, this is a component where we deal with governance, where we deal with ethics, and now the latest hot topic is about sustainability. How about sustainability? It's pollution control, environment safety, etc., etc. It's about sustainability. Okay, carbon neutralizing, etc. Okay, fine. So current act, we need an act to amend and consolidate. What do you mean by consolidate? Means we are not totally forgetting 1956 Act. What are the concepts we need in 2013 Act? If you find any doubts or if you need any clarity in 2013 Act, then we go and refer 1956 Act. Okay. So consolidate the law relating to companies contemporary. Okay. Related to the consent, the structure is 470 sections are there, 7 schedules, 29 chapters, and you have particular rules. Okay. And yes, you just try to understand this. Actually, we have this 2013 Act, but there was a talk going from the year 2004 itself. Almost it took 10 years for this act to come. Okay. And again, if I go for some historical background, we got 1947 independence. 1950, we got this separate status. We had this constitution, war constitution. And till 1991, we were totally under government's control. We were not privatized. Government was taking complete control. After 1991, only we started developing. Okay, you know this LPG concept. Okay. After 1991, you know about this Information Technology Act. We have this from year 2000 only. Okay. After 2000, everything is online, made online. India, it was slow. Now it is very fast. It was slow in the beginning days. So we need to introduce this one, 2000 Act. Okay, Information Technology Act. After this only, we started this slow pace. So from the year 2004 only, we started talking about why we need to incorporate this all these information technology companies. Okay. If there is a director X in company A, in company B, in company C, okay, so on. Let me take 3 companies for example. If there is Mr. X who is a director for these 3 companies, he does some fraud in A company. Okay, then automatically he will be moved from these 2 companies. Okay, you may be or you might be guessing who's this X is not nobody then Vijay Mallya. Okay, he had this Aspace company. He got totally bankrupt and he was asked to remove from other companies. Other companies, what they were asking is, he did fraud in A company. He was very good director for B company and C company. Why do you want to remove? What law says is, if he's a fraud, his character is simple, is that right? then how he could be a director or a good director in these two companies? It's not possible. His character itself is saying he's not a good person. How can you protect these two companies, right? That was a different case. That went as a big article. Okay. Okay, come back. So we started from the year 2004. There was a committee working on this. The committee was constituted in this year. Okay, I'm not going date by date. They submitted a report in this year 2005. Then they brought it as a company's bill. So you know how a bill becomes an act. It is passed in Parliament. You know, Lok Sabha, two houses, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. First will come as a concept paper. This is the first stage. A committee will be formed. They will gather all the reports. They'll check what is the things needed, what is the things not needed, what may be needed immediately, what may not be needed at all, or it may be needed now, but after some 5 or 10 years, everything will be scrutinized. What are the things needed to protect the investors, etc. and all. Okay, then a bill will be produced, or depending on the report. Then this bill will be passed in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then the president assent will be given so that we'll get something called as a act. Only if it becomes an act, it becomes applicable for everybody. Okay. So Companies Bill 2008 was introduced. Okay, in this date. There were some changes to be made. So they brought another new Companies Bill in 2009. Okay, it was introduced in this period. Okay, I'm not going line by line, date by date. Then again, 2011, it was introduced because it was introduced in Lok Sabha. They want to make some changes. So it went again back for new bill. 2011 came. And after some recommended changes, 2012 bill came. It was introduced in Lok Sabha in 2012, Rajya Sabha in this date, and President assent in this date, and it got notified in official gazette in this date. So we have these two dates in one. Okay. So what's the highlight of this 2013 Act is to improving governance? What do you mean by governance? Okay. See, when we say company is a separate person, actually there are investors. We'll not call them as investors. Instead, we'll call them as shareholders who bring money inside the business. Okay. And there may be one person who will be completely going for directing the company called as directors. This person brings money, this person runs the business, but the idea may be given by some other person whom do we call as promoter. Okay. He may be as a shareholder in the company or he may not be. Okay, that's a different case. That's a personal case. First time in Companies Act 2013, promoters is defined. There was no definition before. In 1956 Act, there was no definition. In 2013 only, we got this definition for promoter. Okay. Once a company is formed, all the things, what are the business, what are the object of the company, scope of the company, whatever the actions it does is because of the two persons, at least two persons. Who are the two persons called here as board of directors? Directors. Okay. They have to report to the company, and through the company, they'll be reporting to the government. Okay. Government means I'm talking about Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And if it is a listed company, they'll be reporting to SEBI and all. And during this scrutinizing means they'll check what is the background, what happened. They'll check who are the promoters. Okay, how much money is involved. It's all shareholders' money. They're not involved in the business. It's their money. Okay, if you give me 10 rupees today, okay, what do you think tomorrow about me? Just 10 rupees. You listen to my class? Ma'am will give this 10 rupees to me. You'll be worried, right? Just I'm talking about 10 rupees. Just think this is not 10 rupees, it's 10 crore rupees. Okay. So many people joined together. We are giving 10 rupees, 10 rupees, 10 rupees is now pulled as 10 crore rupees. Now everybody will be worried. They'll be just thinking. They open the YouTube, they open the Instagram, they open all the social media channels. They get the news about the company. Okay, immediate heart attack only. This is the problem arising. Okay, fine. So they need to have governance. Governance means it should be properly done. Even though directors are there, this governance requires some committee to be formed, and that committee should take care of specific cases. For example, you might be heard of this audit committee, stakeholders committee, okay, nomination committee and all. We need to strengthen the regulations, and minority investors have to be protected. What we call as minority investors is holding very small amount of shares. Okay, fine. Whistleblowers, first time it was introduced. First time we have this concept called as resident director. Okay, whom do you call as resident director? You know about this residential status? 182 days they should be in India. Okay. Then woman director was introduced not for all companies, but resident director for all companies. Auditor can be rotated. Now it is for 5 years. Once they can be rotated. Okay. Then Serious Fraud Investigation Office was established. National Financial Reporting Office was what constituted, and you can go for class action suit. See, we all invested in a company. Okay. Okay. We are 100 in number. We all invested in a company, and there is one problem where everybody is facing the similar problem. Okay, probably we are not getting some notice, or we are not getting the dividend, or whatever it is. Myself, I file a case. It's not necessary all the other 99 has to file different case. It's not one similar problem, right? Same problem, similar problem. So what we do here is we all together can file a suit. Suit is filing a case. That is what you call as the same class. Okay, class action suit that can be filed. So that was introduced here. So that was a very big move. And talking about CSR, uh, probably village development, women empowerment, all this will be involved. Okay. Yes, there was a necessity because we are growing, we are expanding, we are globally involved in everything. So that's why an applicability to 1956 Act provisions were applicable, and also 2013 provisions were applicable. But when you go for insurance, banking, or electricity, or some companies which have special act, only if it is not following with the provisions, you cannot say that you have to follow Companies Act. For example, if you go for banking company, okay, one small example I give. There is a problem whether a company can accept deposits from public. Okay. Law says private company cannot accept. What do you mean by deposit? I give the money to you, which means I'm depositing. Okay. Private company, it cannot accept from public. Okay. Public company, it can accept from public because it's a public company. What about banks? I have a current account. I have a savings account. What about banks? The nature of the bank itself is receiving the deposits from the public only. So if you go for the deposit provisions, it's not applicable to banking company. Okay, so that's what they say here. Whether it's formed as a company incorporated under the Companies Act, still we follow the RBI regulations, we follow the banking regulations. So for insurance companies, for banking company, for electricity company, or some special act may be there. For all those and all, you need not follow the Companies Act always. Only during the case of inconsistency, you have to check. And for some other companies, you had to check with the central government's notification. Okay. Some important definitions. Free reserves. What do you mean by free reserves? Free. You can use it for distribution of dividend. That's what free is. Okay. Probably I'll refer this for BAR Act. Just I'm covering all the syllabus. Okay. Then what do you mean by turnover? This and all I'll refer from the BAR Act. You need not worry. I don't want to overload in the very first class itself. Okay. If possible, today you can refer these two case laws. Sand chemicals. Okay. Can take it as an assignment. Yeah, I'll go for this heading. It's a very important heading. When you say a company is incorporated, you cannot just do this puja and you can start a company, you can have a board, put male and all. You cannot start a company like that. You have to properly incorporate. Okay. Once it is incorporated, you'll get a certificate from Ministry of Corporate Affairs. You call this a certificate of incorporation. From that day onwards, you say this as a separate person. Not only separate person, almost you have like 16 points over here, which means talks about 16 features of the company, 16 characters of the company. Okay, what do you mean by features, or what do you mean by character? Okay, if I talk about Mr. X, what do you say about Mr. X? Probably you talk about his family. You talk about where he lives or which citizenship he belongs to. Or you may be talking about his profession. Okay. Probably you may be talking about his expertise knowledge. This is what you call as characters or characteristics or feature of that person. When we say once a company is formed, then all these points follows. Let me go. First one is an incorporated association. You cannot say I started a company and I'm running a company. No, you cannot say that. You need to have a proper certificate. You need to have a proper incorporation. From where you follow this incorporation, you go and follow 2013 Act. Okay, so it's an incorporated association. First one. Second, it's an artificial person. Why you call this as artificial person means you cannot say that it has two legs, it has two hands, it has two limbs or whatever it is. But you can say it has heart. Okay, how you say it has heart? It has a heart. Why not? It has feelings. Okay. It has feelings for its shareholders. It has feelings for its directors. It has feelings for its employees. Okay. It can give bonus for its employees. Okay. The employees all put together, they work in a very better manner and they have, uh, because of their efforts, they have got good profit this year. So company is very happy. It's getting more emotional and paying bonus. Okay. But loss is you have to pay bonus. Okay. And one particular case, uh, I remember there was a bid going on, tender bids. So you ask for the bids, and anybody quotes the lowest amount, he'll be winning the bids. Okay. So one bid was going on. There was one issue. Actually, they quoted a very least amount only, the lowest amount. But the problem was the company did not have experience. Okay. How we get an experience? Did Jamshid Tataji got experience when he started? No. Did Jagdish Chandra got experience? No. See, problem they might have got experience. Not I'm talking about company. The company is formed only today. How the company born today will get experience? Okay, born today will not get experience. But who is the person backbone behind the company? Their experience will be taken, right? So here the company got so much emotional and they filed a case on this saying that the company may be new, but the shareholders, the persons who brought this company as an incorporated form, they had the experience. So the company filed the case and they won the case. Actually, this it was won then. Okay, so it has a heart, it has a feeling, it has an emotional, it has everything. It has anger also. So feeling is not only being happy, right? Can be angry also. Okay. Only thing it cannot eat and it cannot get married, so it cannot get divorced. Okay. So this all things happen. Second point. So we call this as gaining corporate personality. We call this as a separate legal entity. These are all somewhat related points only. So when we say it's an artificial person, it's same as saying separate legal entity because it exists only in the eyes of law. Okay, only it has been incorporated, it's been taken for record. You have a separate book called as record book. Okay, that record book we can see online also, master data of the company, where it is taken for record in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Everybody can have a look on that. So it's taken for record. Okay. So a separate number will be given once it is registered, called as SIN number. You might have heard of this term called as SIN, corporate identity number. So it's a separate number. As we have Aadhaar card and we have this 12-digit number, there is the same for. We have a different PAN number and Aadhaar number. It's the same for SIN. Okay, company's corporate identity number. Then fifth is perpetual succession. So it's not going to live for 60 years. It's not going to live for 100 years. It may be living for 1,000 years. Who knows? Okay. But if it is a failure, the business is a failure, I can close immediately by tomorrow also. That is also there. Okay. Then common seal. See, we want to authenticate, right? Okay. You say that, ma'am, you come tomorrow, ma'am, I'll give you 100 rupees. How can you believe me? Okay. Probably tomorrow I might not be coming. Okay. You say, no, no, ma'am, surely I'll come, ma'am. Okay. I'll come and I'll give you 100 rupees, ma'am. 100 rupees is not a big amount. Okay. Okay. You say, I'll give 5 lakh rupees, ma'am. So next day I'll not be handling class. I'll be searching. Where is this person sitting? Okay. How can I believe you? I cannot have hope on you, right? You say you write a promise, you write a document, you write a promise, and you put your signature. Okay, then I will believe. Or you give a check where you have a amount in your account. You give a check, then I'll not be worried about you because I had a check in hand. I have the hope now. Okay. Or you have this demand draft, etc. etc. I'm not going this side. Now the problem here is whether this is 5 lakhs or this is 100 lakhs doesn't matter. Whether I can believe or I can have hope. If it is a living person, I see you in front of my eyes, I can believe. My mind says I can believe. But this is an artificial person, how can I believe? The problem is this one. This is an artificial person, how can I believe? So, there was a mandate earlier where you can have a, or you need to have. It was a mandate earlier. Okay, now it's voluntary only. You can have a common seal where this common seal, where the directors are signing, along with that, the seal will be given, where the seal will be having the company's name and the SIN number. It says the document is authenticated. Authenticated means you can treat this as an original one. That's what you call as authenticators also. Okay. So that's about common seal. Earlier it was mandatory, now it is made voluntary. Okay. Transferability of shares. Yes, that's a beautiful concept. In case I feel I started a business, okay, but I don't want to have this business run now by me. I want to share or I want to sell this business totally. Yes, I can do it. Okay, I can totally do it. This is possible only in the case of companies. In none other form of business is possible. Only in the form of companies it's possible. Which means you can take it as shares and that shares can be sold. Probably we'll go for forming a company XY. Myself Y and yourself X. I give I take 50% of the capital, you take 50% of the capital. You want to sell this 50% in the future? Yes, you can sell it. Okay. You sell to some Z and go, no issues. Okay, you can do it. You heard of this bank Kotak Mahindra? Okay. Again, I'm linking Mahindra groups only. This person's name is Uday Kotak. He started this finance company, non-banking financial institution. Okay, non-banking financial company. And he was holding around some 56% stake. Mahindra, actually, he started. Uday Kotak started. Mahindra Group just invested some 5% only. But they got the name because of the reputation. They joined together and it's now Kotak Mahindra Bank. Okay. Now they own less than 5%. Who? Mahendra. You know, Uday Kotak owns only 26% because he wants to have significant influence. We call this a significant influence because if you want to take major decisions, you can be involved. If it is very less, like 10% or 12% or 15%, okay, there's no respect for them. Right? So now he owns like 26% only, and this person, Mahendra Group, owns less than 5% only. But still, this is a good combination. Kotak Mahindra is a good combination. Okay. Because they have sold the shares. You can sell it completely or a part. And separate management is, I don't know how to run the business. I have enough money. What you can do? You can invest in a company and they'll be running. Okay. You don't know how to do the business. Okay. So what you're doing? You're investing in Reliance. And Ambani, they are taking care of your business. Anybody has thought in this way? Anybody are involved in shares, doing share market or involved in share analysis or anything like that? Okay. At least your family members, your uncle, aunt, or dad, mom, you just discuss with them. If anybody are involved or if anybody are working in some companies, just get yourself a pep talk. Like if you are invested in Reliance, you are very safe because Ambanis have the tension. You might be having this YouTube reads and all. He's wearing a normal dress. Who? Ambani. He's wearing a normal dress. He earns 180 crores or something a day. Okay. And this one person, 15,000 rupees he earns, he's wearing a complete suit and coat. Okay. Don't worry. He has so much of tension. This guy is a relieved person. Okay. Probably he might be earning 15,000. 10,000 he spends for his own life. 5,000 he goes for investing. And this guy, okay, Ambani and family, full tension involves. His life will be full of tension only. Because he's the king for this business. Obviously, he has other business also along with Reliance. He's a king for the business. We may be admiring he's living a just a luxury life, a costly, classy dresses and all he's wearing, so on. But still, he's a very tough life because he's responsible. As a chairman, as a CEO, he's responsible. Okay, you're just investing 5,000 rupees in Reliance, and you say, "I'm the owner of Reliance." You can say it, right? Okay, this all happens. Separate property, yes, this is another one beautiful point where you can own your own property. If it is my building, I say it's my building because the document says it's in my name. Okay. If we are a company, being an artificial person, the company can buy a property in its own name. Okay. If you find time, you can please refer this case called as Makura Insurance Company. Okay. There was one director who invested the bought some business and bought some property in the business name and had an insurance policy also regarding the property. Had this insurance policy and the insurable interest. You give the nominee name, right? And insurable interest was in this director name. Actually, you cannot give the director's name as insurable interest because company is a separate person. This is company's property. How can you claim the property? You don't have the rights. So this is Makura Insurance Company. You can check this case. You can check Solomon and Solomon case. These are all basic cases. Solomon and Solomon. Um, Actually, when we talk about separate legal personality and all, many talk about Solomon and Solomon case, but I like very much with Lee versus Lee Air Farming Limited. Heard of this case? Heard of in college and all? We have studied of this case. Lee versus Lee Air Farming Limited. Okay. Actually, will not use this name. Okay. We say Lee versus Lee. Shall we have a small history of this case? Lee was a pilot. Okay. He starts his own business. This is a pilot company. And he becomes the chief pilot. Okay. When he was flying, his flight gets crashed and he dies. Okay. Then who comes in the scene is Mrs. Lee. Who's Mrs. Lee? Obviously, wife of Lee only. Okay. Mrs. Lee comes to the scene and she asks compensation. As what? My husband died. So, as a wife, I have the rights to claim the compensation on whom? On the company. Now tell me, who's the company here? Lee. Actually, the case is Lee versus Lee Air Farming Limited. Okay, three Lees are involved. One is Lee, pilot, who died. Another Lee is wife of Lee. Okay, she is the widow claiming compensation because this Lee is the employee of the company. Okay, and another one Lee is the company. It's a beautiful. Actually, I like this case. Many will be talking about the landmark case Solomon and Solomon only. Actually, Solomon was also a good case, no issues. But still, I like this Lee and Lee case. So, can you tell me who is this Lee and who is this Lee? Actually, I just disclosed this Lee is the company. Who is this Lee? Obviously, Mrs. Lee only because this person is gone now. So the case is on Mrs. Lee. Okay, Mrs. Lee. Mrs. means on whom it is being filed. Okay, versus Lee Air Farming Limited. Okay. The discussion goes on, and the question raises Mr. Lee, the pilot. He only formed the company. Okay. So the company and the person both are same. So how can Mrs. Lee claim for a compensation? When this company is formed, this air farming company was formed, it becomes a separate person because companies act says it's a separate person. You have to be very strong. Okay. When you see as a company, you think totally different person. Okay. You can have some image and all. Okay. Totally different person. So this becomes a separate legal person. So this pilot, who is a chief pilot, becomes the employee because they have that employee agreement policy. Everything is done. Okay. And this person as an employee, as he dies, as an employee's wife, okay, who is no more now. So Mrs. Lee can claim compensation as a widow, and she won the case. That was a beautiful case. So you can check on this also. Okay, so let me go here. Is limitation of action. Once I form as a company, can I do anything? Everything? No. There's a limitation of action, and this limitation of action is what I call as the scope of work, object of the company. Only these things you can do. Okay. Probably if Singer Academy is involved in SSA is a company. Just think SSA is not a company. SSA is a partnership firm. SSA is a company. Just think SSA is a company. Okay. Can take classes for CA, CMA, CS, probably for group exams, CNPC or for IAS, everything we can do related to coaching, everything we can do. Okay. Can I involve myself in telecommunication business? No, I cannot involve. Okay. Can I involve in textile business? No, I cannot involve. Can I involve in printing business? Yes. Because somewhat related to this one. But actually, what I have to do is we call this as Memorandum of Association, MOA in short. It should be described over here. The problem now arises whether printing has to be particularly described here. Actually, it should be particularly described. If it is a small level, it's fine. If it is a big level, if I go for publishing and other in a big level, then it should be particularly mentioned. So the problem arises. It has to be mentioned or not. Okay. So that's about limitation of action where company being a separate person, whether can do everything and anything. No, it cannot do. Okay. It's limited scope of action only. And liability is limited. This is not for company, but instead this is for shareholders. The liability is limited. What do you mean by liability? Myself, why? Okay. Always myself, why? Okay. My name starts with Y, Yamuna. So I keep it as Y only so that I don't get confused. Yourself, X only. If anybody third party is involved, I name it as Z. Okay. So X and Y, two persons. We are investing in this company, ABC company. Okay. Fine. ABC is facing a financial loss. Actually, how much we invested is we invested 10,000 rupees, which means each 10,000. So totally 2,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees is involved. This company is facing a financial loss. Okay. And we invested 10,000 and we agreed for another 5,000 probably we might be providing in the future if it is a need. So there is a promise for another 5,000. Okay. If there is a loss in future, how much me, that is myself and you will contribute? Only 5,000. If the company faces, let me go for different cases. If the company faces loss for 10,000, yes, it can contribute. Okay. Actually, the case is not exactly with this. If the company is facing loss for 10,000 and the company has an asset for 10,000, I need not contribute. Okay. It's a company's problem. Company has to contribute. Let me go for another case. Loss for 10,000. Okay. Asset is there, but only for 5,000. Okay. How much I will contribute? So obviously we'll go for 50-50 share because 10,000 each will go for 50-50 share. This is 2,500 and 2,000. This need not be same because I'm not going in depth. In case if the loss is 20,000, if the loss is 20 crores, how much you invest? That is how much you support. My liabilities, because I have promised, my liability is only 5,000. Your liability is only 5,000. That's it. Any type of law. This is actually Solomon and Solomon's. We can refer. Okay, I'm not going in detail. You can refer. So this is Solomon and Solomon case where your liability is limited. You need not give your whole fund. Actually, this is a big advantage in the case of companies firm. If you go for partnership firm, you have to give your full asset. Okay. If you go for half business, full asset gone. If you go for LLP, not an issue. LLP means limited liability partnership. Company, limited liability. This limited liability is for whom? Okay, shareholders. Okay, then this 11th point, 12th point. Yeah, termination of existence. Even though it's an artificial person, there is no death. If we want to close the business, we can close it. Law provides provisions for incorporation. Also, law provides provisions for closing the business also. Actually, will not use this term, the company is dying or what we call as death, will not use these cases and all. Instead, we'll be using the term called as winding up. Okay, we'll be using called the term as dissolution. There's a lot of difference between winding up and dissolution. Dissolution means completely the company is gone. Okay, winding up means we wind up with the assets what we have, we close all the liabilities, all these works goes on. Okay, then 13th, it's a voluntary association for profit. Nobody can compel. If you are giving 5,000 or 10,000 or 5 crores or 50 crores or whatever it is, you give the declaration. That's from your thing only agreeing. Okay. Then capacity to sue and be sued. Yes, you get the rights. If anybody files case on me, yes, I will defend. I'll get the defending capacity because law says you are a separate legal person. You get the full rights. You will get the rights to manage with your own property. You get the rights to sue and be sued. What about nationality and residence? Actually, nationality, we say if we follow Indian Companies Act, that is incorporated as an Indian company, because we are following Indian Companies Act, we say it's an Indian company. It's not incorporated from Indian Companies Act, we follow some other act. It's incorporated outside India. Then we say it's a foreign company. There's nothing called as residential status involved. Okay. Citizenship, there's nothing called as citizenship at all. Okay, citizenship is meant for individuals. You can go and refer Citizenship Act. It says citizenship is meant for human beings, individuals. Okay. And experience, yes, obviously you have experience. So totally I have just pulled for 16 points. Or you call this as characters or features. All these 16 points will be definitely helpful even you become a chartered accountant or cost accountant in future, even after 50 years also, it will be helpful. If you remember all, once you see the board or the name with the company, limited or just private limited or whatever it is, you just get remembered of all the 16 points. All this will be helpful. Okay.